Thunder Rush, the highly anticipated football feature film, is set to be released on Friday, July 2nd at midnight. Filmed in Houston, Texas, and the surrounding areas, the film features WCW and WWE Hall of Famer Stevie Ray of Houston and John Milo, a native of Conroe. Thunder Rush takes the movie watcher back to the 80s era with film and music were great and big hair was cool. If you enjoyed the 80s era, you are going to enjoy watching Thunder Rush. We are joined today by the producer of Thunder Rush, Producer Ed. Producer Ed, how are you doing today?
Doing good, Rob. It's good to be with you.
Awesome. It's great to have you. Producer Ed, tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind the movie Thunder Rush and how the project came to life.
Oh, man. I have actually several inspirations, but let's start with Earl Campbell, arguably the best running back, power back that has ever come through the NFL. He's like, you know, I'm not going to say he's like my idol, but ever since, you know, from a young age, I've always looked up to him in terms of, you know, how he ran the ball, how he carried himself on and off the field. It wasn't too long ago when I'm like, I said to myself, what can I do to pay homage to such a great man, a great football player? And that's kind of how it started, and I just kind of kept that idea in the back of my head for a long time. So now we kind of see it coming to fruition with the Thunder Rush movie project. The other inspiration was Boys in the Hood. When Boys in the Hood first came out, I checked it out the early 90s. Boys in the Hood, written by the late, great John Singleton, who I greatly admire, the film director. And there was a scene in Boys in the Hood where the character Ricky, played by Morris Chestnut, he was running a play, running for a touchdown down the field. And I was looking at that. I'm like, you know what? If I could do something like that in terms of a football movie, man, how cool would that be? Because, of course, you know, John didn't finish he didn't go off into detail about how Ricky, well, we know how the story ended. But I said, if I can just do, you know, film a football movie that kind of offshoots from that, you know, I think that would be real cool. So, you know, again, I kind of put that on the back burner. Those were pretty much my two inspirations, other than the fact I attended Jack Yates Senior High, graduated from Texas Southern University, and just my football experiences playing for Jack Yates, that was inspiration in itself, because in the movie, I bring those experiences, those friendships to Thunder Rush. And so in a way, I'm also paying homage to Jack Yates Senior High, where I played football as a freshman. That's the same year that the football team went 16-0. I don't know if you ever heard of Johnny Bailey, but he was a featured running back that year, 1985, and he went on to play in the NFL. And then you had Melvin Foster, who was the linebacker on that team. He was the anchor. Very good, successful player. Then you had James Good, defensive end. You had Larry Gill. You had Santana Dotson, who played for the Green Bay Packers, won at least 2 or 3, I think, Super Bowl rings. So I was there that year when those guys went 16-0, and that in itself was an inspiration to me to further my cause with this football film project.
That's great, and you obviously have that background of attending Yates High School, and you know how special, how big of a deal football is here in the state of Texas, and obviously Earl Campbell being a huge role model to you, certainly can see how that inspired you for this film. You know, Producer Ed, you know, making movies is not easy, let alone a football movie. Tell us a little bit about, you know, what was the most challenging scene or scenes for you to shoot when you were putting Thunder Rush together?
The most challenging scenes, let me put it this way. The scenes in themselves weren't, in so many words, challenging. The challenging part was getting the cooperation of the extras and the cast. The scenes themselves were pretty much easy to shoot. But in terms of just getting the extras together, getting them to show up, you know, that type of thing, that was the most challenging part of this project. Now, when it came to my lead actors and my primary actors, my featured actors, you know, there was not a problem getting those actors to show up on time and ready to film. But sometimes, you know, with the extras and the younger actors, that posed quite a challenge. But otherwise, as far as shooting scenes, I can't say I had any problem shooting scenes. Now, in terms of getting the scene to pan out exactly the way I wanted to, now there was times where we had to do several reshoots for different scenes just so that it could be the way I wanted the scene to pan out and the way I wanted to look and to come across to the movie audience, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and so if it's not right, we got to reshoot it. No matter how many reshoots it takes, we're going to keep reshooting it until we get it the way I want it to look. And so if you want to take that as a challenge, then there's a challenge for you. The reshoots.
I got you. And you had mentioned earlier, you know, some of the folks you could depend on were some of your lead actors and actresses that played some pivotal roles in the movie. Tell us a little bit about a few of the lead actors and actresses that fans can expect to see in Thunder Rush.
Okay, let me start with, now Stevie Ray is not a lead actor. He has more like, you know, bit parts in the movie. What it was with Stevie Ray, he came in late during the project. And so after I found out that I did have the opportunity to bring Stevie on and to work with him in this film, I created a role for him. And so that's how we were able to get Stevie Ray, even though the project was pretty much 85% done. We still went back and redid some scenes to where we could put Stevie Ray into the movie, and it worked out real well with him, and I just enjoyed working with him. John Milo, who was the lead actor, and and he, of course, he plays a football player in the movie. I met John at a bodybuilding expo, and John is somewhat of a bodybuilder himself, and he was working at the front door and so forth. And I saw him, and I said to myself, you know, this guy, you know, he fits the profile in terms of what I'm looking for this character, because I actually went to the expo to meet YouTube sensation, if you will, Kali Muscle, and to ask him if he wanted the lead role. And so, but before I met Kali Muscle, I met John. And so I said, you know, if it doesn't work out with Kali Muscle, then I'll get John to audition for the role. And so it didn't work out with Kali because, you know, he lives in California for one thing, and then he's with his actors union. So that's kind of like, you know, just, you know, extracurricular stuff I don't need. So I went back to John, had John to come out and audition. He knocked it out the park, the audition it is. He gave it his all on every play, even the scenes where he's running. I mean, he just gave it his all, and that's all I could ask for. Give me your best, you know, and the movie will take care of itself. And Lolita Oliver, and I just end with her. She worked with me on my first film project, and so I called her back to play the mother of Bo James, which is played by John Milo. As far as Lolita Oliver goes, another person, just a sweetheart of an actress. Very easy to get along with. And you notice I keep saying, Robert, easy to get along with. Hey, that's the key. If these actors show up, they have attitudes, don't want to do what you tell them to do, man, it's just going to make it hard on the project and the production and everything. So the key to getting a successful project off the ground is to having actresses and actors who have good attitudes.
Well, it sounds like you got a good group. Producer Ed, tell fans where they can check out more about Thunder Rush and where they can find it to watch it when it's released on July 2nd.
Okay. The fans of Thunder Rush can go to TexasEntertainmentNetwork.com. And there's a link that would take you to our streaming platform. And that's where the movie is going to actually be shown. And so what we want to do, we just want to encourage everybody, sports lovers, football fans, people who love family-friendly entertainment, people who love the 80s era, because this movie is shot back during the late 70s and the mid-80s. Please support the movie. I mean, this is a Texas production-based film. And Texas, like you said earlier, alluded to earlier, Texas is a football state, and Texans love their football. Once you finish watching Thunder Rush, you will leave inspired, feeling good, and happy that you took the time out to watch an hour and 32 minutes of arguably the best football movie to come out, in my opinion. And I'll put it up against Top Gun 2. And I'm a big Top Gun fan. Both movies are going to be released on the same day. And so all you Top Gun 2 fans, after you're done watching Top Gun 2, head over to TexasEntertainmentNetwork.com and watch Thunder Rush.
Well, there you have it. Producer Ed, thank you so much for joining us today. And everybody, Thunder Rush again is coming out July 2nd, Friday, July 2nd at midnight. Producer Ed, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us, and good luck with the movie release.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.